Hey y'all, I'm Shelby from Louisville, Kentucky. Being a craft cocktail bartender from the Bourbon State, I've decided that I want to demonstrate how to make a proper old fashioned. The earliest recipe for an old fashioned dates back to 1806 from a cocktail book. The version that I'm going to be making today is a pre-prohibition style that only contains bourbon, demerara, sugar, and Angostura bitters. The version that you may be most familiar with, though, is the Pendennis style, which comes from the Pendennis Club here in Louisville, with the additions of muddled fruit, soda water, and a sugar cube. So to begin, I have some tools. Got a bar spoon, a strainer, a mixing glass, a jigger, a lighter, and a double old-fashioned glass. To begin, you want to take your Angostura bitters. Bitters are ingredients, usually herbs, spices, or botanicals that are soaked in high-proof alcohol with a bittering agent such as wormwood. Angostura bitters specifically are rum-based bitters from Trinidad with notes of clove and cinnamon. The purpose of bitters in a cocktail are to highlight the spicy notes of bourbon while also cutting through the sweetness of the sugar. So I like to do just one dash. Next, you want to take your jigger and you're going to take your demerara sugar. So this is actually a syrup made from demerara sugar, which is a light brown sugar. Some people use simple syrup, but I prefer demerara sugar because it's a little richer and earthier, and it gives a velvety mouthfeel to the cocktail. So take your syrup and do 1/4 of an ounce. Alright, and next up is the bourbon. Personally, I really like Weller Antique 107, so I chose that, but I also think that the high proof holds up well in a cocktail. So I like to do 2.5 ounces. And for those who aren't familiar with bourbon, it can be a little complicated to figure out what bourbon is and is not, but a good way to remember are the ABCs of bourbon. So A stands for American made. A lot of people have the misconception that bourbon has to come from Kentucky. However, it doesn't. It just has to be in America. Just the majority of it does come from here. B is the barrel. It has to be made in new, charred, white American oak barrels. C is corn. It has to be, the mash bill has to be at least 51% corn. D is the distilling proof. This means that it must be distilled. It must be distilled at no greater than 160 proof. E is the entry proof. This means it must enter the barrel at no greater than 125 proof. F is the filling proof, which means it must fill the bottle at no less than 80 proof. And G is genuine. There can be no artificial colors or flavorings. So now you can add your ice. Ice is an often overlooked component of a cocktail, but it's actually really important because using the wrong ice can leave you with a watery drink in a shorter amount of time. So add a little bit of ice, and then you're going to take your bar spoon. Stirring and ice go hand in hand. So there's actually a proper technique with your bar spoon as well, with stirring. And you want to keep the back of the bar spoon to the glass. And it's also important to only use your wrist. You don't want your elbow to move at all while stirring. So as you begin to stir, you'll stir several times, and you're going to take a straw, and you want to make sure to taste as you go because you want to get proper dilution and temperature. So continue to stir while tasting. And then whenever you think it's ready, you want to use fresh ice in your other glass. And then using your strainer, so next is the garnish. While I don't use muddled fruit, I do like to use an orange peel. I just think that it brings out like the fruit notes of the bourbon itself. And then flambeing it definitely isn't necessary, but I think that the oils just add a nice additional layer of complexity. So. Hopefully I can get this the first time. All right, and insert. Okay, now it's ready to drink. I really needed that. All right, well, now you guys can have fun making your own old fashions at home. Thanks for watching.